Good evening, everyone. My name is Stuart Davis. Just in case any of my viewers forgot who I was, because it's been a bit. It's been a bit. How are you guys doing? My name is Stuart Davis, flawed man of God, a humble parishioner at a small church just outside of Richmond, Virginia. I'm not a pastor. I'm not a biblical scholar. I haven't been to seminary. I'm not trying to get you to join my church or donate to any special cause. What I'm here to do is talk about God, talk about Jesus, talk about the Holy Spirit, talk about the Bible, talk about Christianity, talk about a wide variety of different topics, issues, and current events, and give you my perspective on them, one that I think is reflective of your average Christian guy. Been a Christian all my life, 41 years non denominational Protestant. I don't subscribe to any particular doctrine or denomination. I'm just in the word daily, trying to do it better each and every day. Sometimes I'll get it right, often I'll get it wrong, but no matter what, if you are viewing this show, if you are listening to my voice stream here, you can count on getting my honest takes on whatever it is that we're discussing. So if you're somebody who is interested in learning more about Christianity, you're not a Christian, but you feel drawn to it, or you're looking for answers and you're wondering if Christianity is going to have them, you feel lost, you feel like you're searching for something, there's something missing. Maybe there's a voice in the back of your mind wondering if there's more to your existence than just your life here on earth. If that's the case, let me tell you, spoiler alert, it is Christianity that's missing from your life. It is Jesus. It is the faith, the one true faith. I promise. But I understand that potentially um, you are left wondering, right? Because there's a lot of conflicting information out there, especially in the social media sphere, or just stuff that just makes you feel like it's not real. Expensive, fancy reels, professionally done and acted, scripted, contrived, all that stuff. Everybody's saying, "Oh yeah, no, I got it all figured out. I got it all figured out. It's all definitely right this way." X. And you think that doesn't feel honest, doesn't feel authentic. Here we have a very low budget, amateur, barely barely functional host. um just speaking from the heart, which is the most deceitful of all things. Um they're just, off the cuff and reacting to it. And while I recommend going to church, you might feel, well, I don't want to hear it from a pastor. He's a professional, right? He's just up there speaking because he's trying to get people to join his church, because if people don't come and if people don't donate, he's out of a job. It's just his job. It's what he's doing. It's almost a conflict of interest, but that's not exactly how it works. But I can understand if you're not used to that, if you're not involved in church goings on, you might not understand. You might feel like that's the case. So, um, you don't want to hear it from the pulpit. You'd rather hear it from the guy sitting in the pew next to you. Somebody who can say, "Hey, I'm doing this a long time. This is what it means to me. This is what faith has done for me. This is what it can do for you, and this is why it's important. This is why it's the truth." Hold on. Sorry. Turning volumes down. Managing the household. But anyway, that's what you're going to get here. If you are already a Christian and you just enjoy Christian topics and discussion, you'll like this as well. It's very informal, very relaxed setting. It's very similar to a Wednesday night study group or a Sunday school. It's about the small group atmosphere. It's about you guys coming in, laying your troubles down on the table, bringing your victories, your prayer requests, and your praises, bringing your feelings, bringing your questions, bringing it all to us. And whether you are a Christian, existing Christian, or one who's just learning or just seeking things out, get in the chat. Get into chat, participate. We want to see you. We've got a great group of folks who tune in and night out. And I want you to be part of that because I am just the face on this. I am just the guy running the show. You guys are what make it better. All right, so just give your opinion. What do you agree with or disagree with? What do you think I'm right about? What do you think I'm wrong about? What unique insight or perspective do you provide to that might make us think differently or might reinforce how we already feel? Share your opinion. Ask questions. May not be able to answer them, but we can at least talk about it. And at the end of all this long drawn out intro, if you like the stream, give me a like. If you want to see more like it, subscribe. If you want to be notified when we go live, hit the notification bell. And there you go. Housekeeping point as we go into the show. Like I said, I should be streaming most of the days this week, or what's today? Tuesday. I should be tomorrow and Thursday. I should be streaming. Friday's a maybe. Got family in town. And then the next 2 weeks will be spotty, if at all. Okay. So, we'll see how that goes. But I will be back. And like I said, July is just going to be just hitting the ground running. And we should have a very steady Monday through Thursday stream schedule. And there you go. How's everybody doing? Everybody have a good weekend? I had some softball last night. I got to play some softball. We were struggling to field in the infield. I couldn't catch anything at first, and my infielders couldn't throw anything to me. We actually had the shortstop threw one to me, and this was like the first play, the second play, and he just hums it. Like you can hear it coming in. But I can tell as soon as it gets 2 feet out of his hand, there's no way I'm going to catch this thing. It's way too high. It cleared I couldn't have jumped and reached it. I'm 6'2". My arm's pretty long too. Wouldn't have even got close. Cleared the fence next to the dugout. It hit poor guy in the head watching the game next to us. So he didn't even see it coming. It just whap. He was okay. He was okay, but we had a wild time. But we lost that game, but we won the second game. And that was good. Oh, that was good. Prayers, if you guys don't mind. My daughter's got dealing with pneumonia right now. So it would be nice if she could have a nice, healthy recovery. She's got what I'm pretty sure is walking pneumonia because she's been walking around but not feeling well at the same time. Times where she's been up and energetic, and other times where there's just nothing. So we took her to the doctor. Wife took her to the doctor last night, and she was diagnosed with pneumonia. She's got a big old spot on her chest in the X-rays, and just you don't like seeing things to keep the kiddos down. Right? You like to see them up and energetic. You want them being themselves, and then when they're completely zapped of energy, you feel like it's like somebody's messing with your kids, right? But again, health is the thing we all want for our kids, spouses, family, friends, all of us. That's the good thing. So welcome everybody to this Tuesday as we roll into the show proper. Thad the man asking in the Discord if we were having a show tonight. We are, and here we are. And where are you? You're here. Jenny ELJ, hello, ma'am. I see you've got a new PFP. Speaking of PLPs or PFPs, Nico with my favorite PFP. me on a uh, Nico with my picture on one of the Among Us spacemen. So great profile pic there. Alex, more spoilers? Always spoilers. Always spoilers. And when it comes to telling people that if they're looking for Jesus, if they think they might need Jesus, the spoiler alert will always be there, and it'll always be yes, you need Jesus. Veritex is here. At this point, I've heard the word talk more than the 90s Dove Award show featuring DC Talk. Did I say talk? Did I say? Am I repeating myself? Am I using the same word over and over? I hate doing that. So if you catch me being repetitive, let me know. I've missed you guys. Thank you for the prayers, Jenny. I've missed you guys, and I'm glad to get some time with you before checking out for a little bit. And I hope that you guys are ringing in the new year. We're not new year, the summer pretty well. I'm looking at this. So the shield here, if you see it flashing on stuff, my son is on the other side of these monitors watching the OG Gundam. So what you see in the reflection is actually the animation in the background. So I saw that and I'm like, man, that's a bit distracting. So if it's distracting to you, that's what it is. OG Gundam, which you should all watch. Gundam's awesome. So we're gonna go back in the Proverbs. Proverbs has been based. Proverbs has been full of wisdom, full of just down to earth. Solomon's sharing what he knows, stuff that we can all get behind, and putting it in a way that is both beautiful and kind of easy to remember. You like things to be catchy. And Solomon, in his wisdom, was able to write things down and provide wisdom in a way that most of us can pick up. So it is that we're going to talk about tonight, and we're going to talk about prostitution. But it's not just going to be prostitution as we think of and as the media teaches us. The Stormy Daniels proverb. It's not going to be in the way. We're not just going to be talking about streetwalkers, and we're not really going to limit it to women. This is the perspective of a man who, in all of his wisdom, still fell for the wiles of the ladies. And that's not to say that there aren't good, wholesome women out there. But when you have thousands of wives and concubines, and they're from other nations with other cultures and other religions, you are opening yourself up to temptation and not having breaking that command about having other gods, which God explicitly tells us not to. Solomon, in all of his wisdom, still fell for this to his detriment, and as a result, to the detriment of Israel. Israel splits after this. After Solomon dies, after Rehoboam takes over, Jeroboam ends up taking roughly, Jeroboam takes 10 of the tribes. God tells him, hey, Solomon's screwing up. Rehoboam doesn't seem to be really improving things. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give as a lesson. I'll teach him a lesson in humility. I'm going to give you the 10 um, provinces, districts, whatever you want to call them, areas that belong to the 10 of the 12 tribes. And I will make you this promise, if you run things the way that you're supposed to run things, the way that Solomon was supposed to continue running them until he stopped, if you do things the way that I have directed you to do them, you will be blessed, and all your children will be blessed, God said, knowing that this wasn't going to happen, but giving the man the opportunity anyway. But if you do that, you will be blessed, and so will the generations following you. So, I don't know where I was going with that. I'm out of practice, guys. It's amazing what a week off will do to you. But I'm out of practice. Anyway, it's important. Sexual sin. Look, it's Pride Month, right? It's June. People are celebrating sexual sin out there and expecting everyone else to just to go, okay, that's great. And not go, what you're doing is wrong. Okay. What you're doing is wrong. And it influences people in negative ways. And you're proud of this. Proud of this. It's not limited to what they talk about in Pride Month, though. Promiscuity, adultery, and overall just lack of personal dignity and modesty um, tears apart the fabric of culture, and that's where we are today. This is what we have to deal with in society. Society where pornography is at the tip of your fingers. A society where OnlyFans is seen as a legitimate career. Where people flaunt their bodies, something that should be, somewhat personal to you. Flaunt their bodies on Instagram or anywhere else they can see. Look at me. Look at me. Lust after me. Like I said, it's not just the lady at the gym. It could be the guy at the gym. Could be the guy showing off all the things that he buys. Right? Look at the money I have, and look at the body that I have. And it's nice that you have those things. But where does that ultimately get you in the end of the day? At the end of your life, it doesn't give you anything because you're not taking any of it with you. What are you taking with you? Wholesomeness? Flexing. Yes. Flexing. Thank you. The you, your person, is what you have that you're responsible for. And the fortunate thing for us in America is that largely we have control over ourselves. Largely. Most people in this country aren't trafficked. Hang on. No. Um, so, most people aren't trafficked in this country. Most of us have a choice on whether we want to save ourselves from marriage, um, maintain our marriage vows, Dress modestly or dress provocatively. You have choices over this, and how you choose says something about you. You could be um, you can flaunt your body, or you can be modest. And it's like I said, the term that I've been using, the Puritan kvetching. Um, people could just think of you as that. But what people think of you and what is true can be different things. And ultimately, what God judges to be good, bad, virtue signaling, judgmental, whatever, that's the final judgment. And you got to be honest and humble with yourself and understand that there's room for you to be wrong. And if you're wrong, what are you going to do about it? That's something that we can all, myself included, we can all relate to as times that we go, I really do need to change. Other times where we know we need to change, but we keep doing the wrong thing. It's a struggle. Sin is a struggle. And sexual sin seems to be somewhat unique in the fact that it is um, addictive in many different ways and destructive in many different ways as well. Families are ripped apart over it. People's faith is disrupted by it. And it just sucks to see things where they are now. So, Proverbs 7s will start with the wiles of the prostitute. My son, keep my words and treasure my commandments within you, so they are readily available to guide you. And keep my commandments and live, and keep my teaching and law as the apple of your eye. Bind them securely on your fingers. Write them on the tablet of your heart. Say to skillful and godly wisdom, you are my sister, and regard understanding and intelligent insight as your intimate friends, that they may keep you from the immoral woman, from the foreigner who does not observe God's laws and who flatters with her smooth words. All right, gonna stop right there. What were we talking about? How was Solomon tempted? He's telling you right here. I have made mistakes. This is a big one. this this part right, this passage right here has everything to do with the fall or the tearing apart of Israel. Because this right here was pretty much the beginning of Solomon's fall, Solomon's folly, the wisest man, still thinking the wrong part of his body at times, which is not so wise. It's not so wise. So, keep my commandments and live. Keep my teaching and law as the apple of your eye. Words from God. Oh, I have given you these rules. Follow the rules. Everlasting life. Bind them securely on your fingers. Write them on the tablet of your heart. Remember them. Etch them into your memory. Wisdom should be as close to you as your sister or a very close friend, confidant. You guys know where he's going with this. And regard understanding and intelligent insight as your intimate friends. Trust. Trust wisdom, trust understanding, trust your insight. These are important things. Trust them in a humble way. Okay. And so here we go, that they may keep you from the immoral woman, from the foreigner who does not observe God's laws and who flatters with her smooth words. So if you want to fast forward with this, you'll find something very similar up in the New Testament in one of Paul's letters talking about unequally yoked. And if you know that, if you've watched this show for a while, you know, my wife was not believing when we got married. Technically, that was something that I shouldn't have done. I should have looked elsewhere, but I didn't. But out of mistakes, good things often come, i.e., Solomon, the guy writing from this, came from the union of David and Bathsheba, which wasn't the greatest of origin stories there. But the reason why that's advised against, and the reason why you see the immoral woman, someone who isn't keeping God's law, somebody who doesn't believe in God. Stay away from them, because it's more likely that they're going to drag you down than you're going to pull them up. And if we flip this and we flip the genders on this, a woman who believes, see, as a man who does not, it's even more hard, it's even more difficult for y'all. Especially for y'all as believers, you're the understanding that the man leads the family. The wife is the support. The wife is that backbone, that spine behind it. Right? But if the leader of the household doesn't believe, if the leader of the household follows other things, that makes things even more difficult for you, which is why the statistics are the way they are. It's when the husband of a family starts going to church, it is way more likely, not even close, that the rest of the family will follow. Less for if the wife/mother starts going, and even less if the kids start going on their own. It happens, but the real, if again, it just makes it more difficult. Hans Feeney, who I love the quote on here, he said, speaking to me specifically, telling me specifically, because me and my wife have been married for a while. And I think relatively successfully, and we love each other, and we have 3 great kids, and we love them, and we're one big team that I manage. But he said, it's like driving with your feet on the steering wheel. Can you do it? Yeah. Do you advise people? No, it's not a safe thing, because what a lot of people will tell you is they know way more men and women who have married unbelievers and stopped going because it stopped being a priority to them. Faith is something deeply important. Should be something deeply important and valuable to you. If it's not, if that person next with you does not share that deep and personal affinity, you really need to question the wisdom of your actions. Veritex says, PSA, your power company reminds you to take your time and always keep your hands free to avoid falling. Appalachian Power. Appalachian Power better be telling everybody to maintain 3 points of contact to avoid falling. Come on, everybody knows that. That's lineman talking right there. Keep your hands free. Veritex said, "Yeah, I got to think the Northern Kingdom guy didn't get this bit of wisdom because not long later, Jezebel." Does Jezebel enter the picture after Jeroboam, though? I think, right? I can't remember. And no, Nernath, not Arnor. We're talking about the Israel Northern Kingdom, the Kingdom of Israel, called it because you have Israel and Judah, Judea, whatever. But what if she can fix him? The funny thing behind that, I think, is that you know women see a guy with flaws, and this is just stereotypical. This is not all encompassing, but women see a guy with flaws and everything. She goes, "Oh, I can fix this guy. I can make it work," and she ends up getting herself in trouble a lot of times. Men, once we've got our woman, or even just walking around and interacting with women, a lot of times they have a problem and they're talking to you about it, and you want to fix the problem. They don't want you to fix the problem; they just want you to listen. Just interesting dichotomy there. Nico has a question. How do you help a friend, male, who's who struggles with sexual sin and giving into temptation? That's kind of the $1,000,000 question, isn't it? That's the $1,000,000 question. How do you deal with temptation, period? But there's physical drive, there's physical desire, and there's mental uh, and and psychological desire and need in there too. It's difficult, and I think that it comes with making a commitment. I'm not going to do X. How am I going to hold myself accountable to that? How am I going to stick to it? How am I going to stick to this plan? Every time I get the what do you call it, the urge, how am I going to address that? I'm going to go take a walk, go work out, cold shower. What if I'm at work? Well, you can't do anything. You better not be doing something about it then. You better just be ignoring it, going into the bathroom or anything. But it is and Nernath saying a hard question. Yeah. You have to be committed to stopping. But it is there's a reason you call it a struggle, because it is a constant struggle. And there are going to be times where you screw up. Lust is difficult. Right? Especially for men. I can't speak of it from the woman's side. Maybe Jenny's got insight on that because she's the lady in the group. But for men, it seems to be so often. What is our downfall? Pride and lust. Sometimes both. So it's not one of the things that you can help with is let them you're not alone. And the bad part is you're not alone because there's a lot of folks who don't think it's a problem. Again, what is June? Do whatever you want month, basically. Easier said than done, but especially nowadays where it's so readily accessible, you have to you can either try to get creative or you can try to be, the cold turkey pipe person and just deal with it. But there's also the also um also the other side of it is, are you married? Your spouse should be supportive on this, reciprocating of this, that kind of stuff. And if you're not, I mean, these urges are there because God wants you to have, if you're a man, God wants you to have a wife. Be fruitful and multiply. It's one of the first, isn't it like one of the first commandments God gives us in the Bible? One, do it, you can hang out here and do whatever you want. Don't eat from the tree, right? This particular tree, don't eat from that fruit. They did that. But when he casts them out, be fruitful and multiply. It's a natural thing. That's the impetus for you to be looking for some lady to marry, for your male friend, for look for some lady to marry. And I know that's difficult too. It's again easier to send than done, but that is the search is on. Maybe not trying so hard, but always keeping your eyes open, always keeping your ears out. It is a real struggle. It might be what you could say it's one of the struggles, Nico. So give yourself grace when you screw up, but don't make excuses. Don't make excuses. Don't think it's okay. It's not. It's just not it's not the end of the world for you. Repent and move on. Good question, Nico. Really good question. Veritax about the power company. You laugh, but they tweeted that tonight. Yeah. Nunez said, hard question, Nico. At the core of it, there has to be something they love more than their sin. And framing it that way, loving God more than sin. Yes. Love your God more than sin. That means no putting rainbows up and telling everybody how great you are because you decided to do something you're not supposed to. Nika says, yeah, it seemed not just physical and also some psychological issues that make them do it. Thankfully, I don't have that vice, but one I don't get. Just don't stick it into trouble. Yeah. And we've all got our vices. This just seems to be the big one for guys. Seems to be the big one for guys. Jenny over there covering her face. That's fine. Nico, good insight. You have to have things you value more than sin. To have God, you have to value God. That's the answer right there. That I mean, the overall solution, valuing God more than sin, wanting to be obedient to God more than wanting to give in to your sin, not loving your sin, not identifying with your sin, pushing out. I don't want to be with you. I don't want to be around the sin, even as much as it tries to suck me in. And sometimes maybe it gets me. But you gotta be resisting. You gotta be repenting. You gotta be working on it. Veritex said, parents, show your kids you care and value them. They won't sell their own selves so cheaply. Son, do I show you that I care about you? That I value you? That's right. No. Down. Knucklehead. It's always nice to get positive feedback. Nernea said it works that way for me at least, Nico. Just stopping is almost impossible to do with any habit. You have to replace it with something. I find that having friends to encourage helps. Yeah, some people have friends that kind of hold them accountable. Like if you had an addiction to alcohol or drugs or something like that, having somebody who's going to try to help you control. Wanting to not disappoint them or God helps me. It's good. Thank you, Nernea. Thank you for sharing with that. And that similar way for me. Similar ways for me. So we're talking about the immoral woman from the foreigner who does not have God's laws, the women who come from faraway lands and don't appreciate God or adhere to his covenant or any of that stuff, trying to get you to do the same thing. They will bring you down. That's, to quote Tommy Boy, that's when the whores move in. For a look at the window of my house, for at the window of my house, I looked out through my lattice, and among the naive, the inexperienced and gullible, I saw among the Utes, a young man lacking good sense, passing through the street near her corner, and he took the path to her house. In the twilight, in the evening, in the black and dark night, and there a woman met him, dressed as a prostitute, and sly and cunning of heart. She was boisterous and rebellious. She would not stay at home. At times she was in the streets, and at times in the marketplaces, lurking and setting her ambush at every corner. She caught him and kissed him, and with a brazen and impudent face she said to him, I have peace offerings with me. Today I have paid my vows. So I came out to meet you, that you might share with me the feast of my offering. Diligently I sought your face, and I have found you. I have spread my couch with coverings and cushions of tapestry, with colored fine linen of Egypt. I've perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. Come, let us drink our fill of love until morning. Let us console and delight ourselves with love. For my husband is not at home. He has gone on a long journey. He has taken a bag of money with him, and he will come home on the appointed day. With her many persuasions, she caused him to yield, and with her flattering lips, she seduced him. Suddenly he went after her, as an ox goes to the slaughter, not knowing the outcome, or as one in stocks goes to the correction to be given to a fool. Until an arrow pierced his liver with a mortal wound, like a bird fluttering straight into the net. He did not know that it would cost him his life. Several different parts here, or several different verses here, all part of the thing. Solomon, who says he's looking at his lattice, he might be talking about himself a little bit. However, Solomon's deal is he had wives and concubines. He just many of them. He's talking about the man walking the street and giving in to temptation. There's a woman out there. She's married, but her husband's not home. She wants to spend the night, or him to spend the night with her. Prostitute, there's going to be an exchange of money. There's seduction. There's all this stuff. And this is the old school way. This is the traditional way. The new way is mobile devices, Tinder, the hub, easy hookups. You got an urge, you got that itch, why don't you scratch it? Easy ways to find it, and it's so accessible. And once you start to realize how easy it is, it makes it more difficult to say no because there's less of an obstacle to get you there. Do I have any money? I got to go through all this rigmarole. I got to go to this place. I might get caught by the cops. No, we've removed the taboo to hookup culture. We've removed the stigma behind all this. And what have we gotten and what have we gotten? broken relationships, broken people, broken families. So after the seduction, he went after her as an ox goes to the slaughter, not knowing the outcome. Well, yeah, I'll do whatever. It's a great idea. Or as one in stocks going to the correction to be given to a fool. Knowing that you either do it not knowing and ignorant, or you know and you just resigned for your fate. Did not know it would cost you and cost him his life. It can overcome you. It can rule your life. Just like any other vice, any other addiction, any other those 7 deadly sins, and all the other ones in between. What is this? Yax, hey guys, I'm sorry I can't join today, but I just wanted to say Fortnite, Among Us, Sussy Baka, Skibadoo, Phantom Tax, Sigma Riz in Ohio. Stop it. Stop it, Yex. Get out of here with that Zoomer talk. Your Nan said, I noticed that the guy wasn't prepared. He was stupid. The hoe was hunting, but he didn't make himself hard to trick. Hey, some um some targets are easy, some targets aren't. But we're all targets. And man, it is hard to say no. It's hard for men to say no. Now, therefore, my sons, listen to me and pay attention to the words of my mouth. Do not let your heart turn aside to her ways. Do not stray into her evil and immoral paths, for she has cast down many mortally wounded. Indeed, all who were killed by her were strong. Her house is the way to Sheol, descending into the chambers of death. Ooh, ooh. But true, cause you destruction. And my best friend in basic training into helicopter school. He was from Oregon, second generation from Spain. His grandfather was apparently some prince in the Spanish royal family, but was disowned by his family when he married outside what was appropriate for him, apparently, and moved to Oregon. And what he used to tell me, he goes, that's what happens when you follow the wrong head. Easy to do. Easy to do. Which is why wisdom, we go back up here talking about do not let your heart turn to her ways. Do not stray into her paths. She will kill you. She has killed others before her, and those folks, those men were strong. Ways lead to death. Say to the skillful and godly wisdom, you are my sister, and regard understanding and intelligent insight as your intimate friends. Keep them next to you as advisors, naysmiths, whatever you want to call them, your conscience, the Holy Spirit. Psst, don't do that. Hey, why? Why are you doing this? Oh, yeah. Sometimes it might just shake you out of it. That little trance that you get into before you do the thing that you're not supposed to be doing. And the more you lean on it, the more you depend on it and the more you listen to it, the easier it does get easier. It does get easier. The further away you get from that high, from that joy, from that satisfaction, from that climax, the easier it is to say no. Not easy, easier. All right, y'all. That's our reading for tonight. Serranos, welcome to the show. Renee said this follow-up sounds like a warning to those guys who think they can handle it. Yeah, a lot of people think they can handle it. They can't handle it. Can't handle it. Either they're so morally compromised that it just doesn't. They're already on par with it, or their life's falling apart around them and they just don't want to admit it, or they're just so wrapped up in the desire and the lust that they just don't notice it. So that's going to conclude everything for tonight. Serranos, Nernath, Nico, Yex, Veritax, Jenny ELJ, Thad, Alex. Very interesting scripture. Yeah. You will find that a lot of what Solomon writes about in here in Proverbs regards around relationships specifically of a physical nature because it's his it was really his vice. It was what he struggled with. And why does he focus so much on the man? Because one, that's his perspective, and two, if the man is squared away, he can help his wife be squared away. And if they're both squared away, they can get the kids squared away, and family and friends squared away. It all builds on itself. Again, if you're going to start, if the man is going to have that, if he's got that part about him, that he is going to rise to the occasion and be who he's supposed to be and fulfill the role he's supposed to fill. That means he needs to take his struggles with a sense of priority. I think Solomon realizes this, but again, it's easier for him. It's his struggle. It's a lot of men's struggles, and he's a man. So we'll see more of these. But thank you all for joining. Thank you all for popping in. I know that it was kind of a little impromptu. We will be, like I said, the plan is to stream tomorrow and Thursday. We'll see about Friday. Because like I said, got family that I care about coming in. I'm gonna spend as much time. I'll soak up as much time with them as possible. So, thank you for everybody who was listening, not part of the chat. Glad you guys are here, tuning in. Thank you for lending me your ears. I want you in that chat so bad, but I'm just glad that you're finding something that you want to keep coming back for. Renee said, appreciate the stream. My schedule is crazy, but it always is something that seems tailored to what I need. Same here. Same here. All right. So to everybody who is catching this on replay, thank you for watching. Yeah. Hold on. Jenny says, one man, one woman, marriage, kids, and both being faithful to each other. Keep communication open. Communicate. We're not mind readers. Some people are more intuitive than others, but really, we're all mind readers. And if it's something that we just naturally try to keep to ourselves when maybe we should communicate it, makes it harder for that. Be communicating. Let your kids see that you communicate to each other. Me and my wife, we argue a little bit. We're working on our communication. That's what we always have been, working on communication, because we're both stubborn and opinionated people. My wife, thankfully, will defer to me, but that doesn't mean that this isn't intense discussions going on. And me being the ADHD guy, a lot of times um, doesn't pick up on things that she tells me to. Just one ear and out the other. So, but we make it work. We try to honor God our best. Communication is so key to that. So thank you for sharing that, Jenny. That is a great piece of relationship and marriage knowledge. So that said, everybody, have a good night. God bless.